The cardiac Texans strike again, but the defense holds on in the end. Welcome into the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans as we break down the big takeaways from the 21-16 victory for the Texans over the Arizona Cardinals. 3 straight wins, 4 of their last 5 for the Houston Texans, and they are nipping at the heels of the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC South, setting up a huge one next Sunday. But before we get to next Sunday, what happened on this fine Sunday as the Cardinals were in town? The second game of the season for Kyler Murray. This was going to be a tough one. And after some of the failures that this defense had, for them to finish this way has to make Nico and the rest of that team feel oh so good. So 4 big things out of this one. The first one, we'll start with the defense overall. Just an incredible performance by them. Kyler Murray clearly makes the Cardinals a much better team. If they put some talent around him, and I know they had some in the past, but they put a few more weapons around Kyler Murray, that offensive line gets a tad bit better. They're going to have something going on offense out there in Arizona. He's clearly unique and dynamic. The Texans had to deal with him with some key players missing on defense. Denzel Perryman suspended, Henry To'o still down with the concussion, and a couple of other guys banged up. But they did a pretty good job overall. And mostly the defense, let's focus on those final 3 Cardinals drives, which all ended in a turnover on downs. The first turnover on downs, Derek Stingley, boy, did he come to play on this one. He stuffed the Arizona player, allowed Tavier Thomas and the rest of the Texans to swarm in there. Nico Ryans talks about it all the time. Swarm in there and get that stop short of the first down. The next drive for the Cardinals, it ends because Kyler Murray can't find Trey McBride over the middle. Some pretty good coverage. Kyler had to make a decision pretty quick in that spot, and the Texans were able to force the turnover on downs there. And then, of course, the final one, as the Cardinals were going through that final drive, it was clear to me, and I don't know if it was clear to you. If it's not here, maybe I'm breaking some news to you here. It was clear to me the Cardinals were afraid of C.J. Stroud. They didn't want to leave any time on the clock. The way they operated, that final offensive drive for them, they intended to make sure that the Texans had next to no time left on the clock should the Cardinals succeed in getting the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to push their score to 24, and then the Texans would need a field goal to tie the game. They did not want to leave C.J. Stroud any time. And talking to Tank Dell after the game, I asked him, hey, did it feel like the Cardinals were a little scared of C.J. Stroud? And he said, I don't know how they felt. He's like, but if you're not scared of 7, you should be. The Cardinals were. The defense comes through, so there's not even a conversation about how much time is left on the clock. They forced that 4th and kind of medium, almost long there after they got the big play earlier in the set of downs, and Steven Nelson comes in, bats that thing away, and the defense takes care of business. Derek Stingley had the big interception down the field. Will Anderson had a sack, a tackle for a loss, where he just grabbed James Conner's jersey and was not letting go. That was a nice performance from Will Anderson overall. And then Blake Cashman, my goodness, is he an absolute animal. 19 sacks on the stat sheet that I looked at, although I think there's a conversation that he might end up with 20 total. He was all over the field. He was chasing down Kyler Murray. He had the sack of Murray on a well-timed blitz by Nico Ryans. He was chasing down James Conner. It was a tough assignment for Blake Cashman, and he was ready for it. He's one of the best players on this team. Blake Cashman, who was a late-round cast-off from the Jets that Nick Caserio traded for and had been a special teams player prior to this season, started the season slow. Once he's been healthy, he's been one of the best players on this defense. Cashman was fantastic against the Arizona Cardinals. Really good performance from him. And overall, a really good performance from this defense. They had to overcome quite a bit. The offense gave them not nearly enough there in the second half from C.J. Stroud and company, and the defense took care of their business. When you think about the issues that the defense has had that's led to a loss there on that last drive against Carolina and Atlanta, when you think about the fact that the defense couldn't keep Cincinnati and Tampa off the scoreboard and the offense had to go pick them up, rent was due for the defense, and they paid their debt and more than enough on Sunday. So that's the first big one. Defense takes care of business. C.J. Stroud's interceptions. Now, 3 interceptions on this one, all of them deep in Cardinals territory there. Man, that interception that he was trying to get to Nico Collins. That was a tough decision. That was the first one. Really good play by the Cardinals defender, but there's two other jerseys there. That's not a completion, it feels like to me, even if the Cardinals defender doesn't make a really good play. And that's just one of those that, hey, he thought he could trust Nico Collins on that one. He tried to make a throw. Really good play was made. But even if that interception wasn't made, I don't know that that's a touchdown to Nico Collins. The next one, that one maybe should have been caught by Robert Woods. I don't know, looking at it, maybe it wasn't the best throw in the world. Maybe there's a little bit too much mustard on it. I can't totally place all the blame there, but when that ball bounces a little bit or floats in the air like that, the defense is going to have themselves a day. Credit to George Fant and Titus Howard, the two offensive linemen that were there. Fant ultimately makes the tackle. Titus Howard was ready to get in there and make the tackle if George Fant didn't make it. They kept that one from being a big pick six. And then the other one, CJ Stroud is trying to hit Tank Dell on the out on the sideline, and the defender just reads it, gets over there in time. As CJ Stroud said in the postgame, 3 throws doesn't define the day. Still feels like the offense and the passing attack had a really nice day. And he's right, 336 passing yards. They put up 21 points in the first half as an offense. They've got to be able to turn some of those into points. Those mistakes can't happen. CJ Stroud acknowledged that. The big element for me, Bobby Slowick, the offense coordinator, talked about this with CJ Stroud. He's got a short but permanent memory. He's got a short memory in that he doesn't let those mistakes harm him within a game. He's got a permanent memory in that he doesn't make those mistakes again. Let's see how much CJ Stroud can learn from those mistakes. And it's always easier for a football player to learn from mistakes in victory than it is to learn from them in defeat. So CJ Stroud's bounce back will be what I'll be watching for after those interceptions. Sticking with the offense and the conversation around them, they've got to put teams away. No points in the second half. The defense takes care of their business, but the offense had a number of opportunities. Matt Amendola missed a field goal that would have made it necessary for the Cardinals to get 8 on that one. The interceptions deep in Cardinals territory. The 3rd and 1 call that the Texans had with Andrew Beck. Devin Singletary had been running the ball really well, and they decided to hand the ball to Andrew Beck, trying to, I guess, surprise the defense. It was not good enough in the second half from a finish the other team perspective. Great teams and good teams can regularly finish opponents. The Texans' offense did not finish opponents. If you just take those interceptions, and if one of those turns into points, a touchdown or a field goal, it's much more at ease there towards the end of this game. But you didn't turn enough of them into points. You didn't turn enough of those possessions in the second half. In fact, you didn't turn any possessions in the second half into points. So that's no good. This offense has to finish people. Okay? You got to finish people. You got to put points on the board. You got to continue to run up the score and make it really tough for that opposing team to come back. It was pretty close the entirety of the second half, in large part because the offense couldn't finish the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I will say, give a little credit to the Cardinals. They've been able to yuck up, muck up, and ugly up a bunch of games, and they've been close with a bunch of opponents over the course of the season. So a little credit to those guys, as C.J. Stroud, and the cliche goes, C.J. Stroud said it after the game, and the cliche goes, those guys get paid too. They've been able to muck up some games and keep things close. They did it against the Texans, but the Texans, they want to go to that next level. You got to be able to finish the opponents. Finish them. When you get them down, bury them. Had an old baseball coach used to tell me that. You get them down, bury them. They even play the Undertaker theme on 3rd downs for the defense. Okay? So if CJ Stroud and this offense want to take it to the next level, they got to make sure that opposing defenses rest in peace. Little WWE there for you wrestling fans. Final point from this game, Devin Singletary is the starting running back for this team. Dameon Pierce is very close to being back. He practiced on Friday, wasn't available for this game. Pierce is close to being back, but Devin Singletary, with this offensive line cohesion, he's the starting running back. You ride the hot hand, and I understand some coaches feel like injury, you shouldn't lose your starting job. Dameon Pierce was close to losing his starting job before he was injured. Now with the injury and the success that Devin Singletary has had, he is the starting running back. Don't mess up a good thing just because Dameon Pierce is back. Ride the hot hand. The hot hand right now is Devin Singletary. Keep getting him the rock. Another impressive rushing performance. He played pinball there, getting in on that touchdown after Dalton Schultz had played the slip and slide earlier. So the game-themed touchdowns for the Texans there. in those first two scores. But Devin Singletary, running back one, and running back one even when Dameon Pierce is healthy. What do you think? Get into the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this game. If you disagree with me, let me know. If you thought I made a great point, let me know in the comment section as well. On your way down to the comment section, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the little bell if you are subscribed so that you know when new videos post and when we go live here on the channel. And in the description, you can also check out Houston football, where I do all my writing about the Houston Texans. Tons of free content, paid subscribers. It gets started at just $7 a month. If you buy a whole year, you get 2 months free as well. Appreciate you checking that out. Appreciate you watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Plenty more coming here on the YouTube channel. Can't wait till we talk Texans again soon.